Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below.
It's that time again.
What do you say when there are no words? Feel a song that's never been heard. How do you know when you hear the call? What do you do when you've done it all? Cannonball, 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 cannonball. It's not what you do, it's how you do. Be anything you want to be. It's not what you got, it's how you use it. You be you and I'll be me. It's just a matter of style. You can't fake it. Mile after mile, feeling free. If you got the soul, you can make it. Move 'em out. Let 'em roll. From sea to shining sea. Ball. Cannonball. What do you do when the mountain is there? How do you answer the challenging day? And when your back's against the wall, what do you do when you've done it all? Cannonball, 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 cannonball. It's not what you do, it's how you do. Be anything you want to be. It's not what you got, it's how you use it. You be you and I'll be me. It's just a matter of style. You can't fake it. Mile after mile, feeling free. If you got the soul, you can make it. Move 'em out. Let 'em roll. From sea to shining sea. Ball. Cannonball. Hey, now cannonball. 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 Cannonball.
Yes, indeed. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers, and sisters. This is the Apex Online Racing Hype Energy F1 2018 Season 16 round number 9 here at the Speedwell Circuit in Austria. My name is King-Kodiak, and I'll be one of your commentators throughout this evening's race. Joining me in the commentary box, I'm always happy to say, is my faithful companion, Mr. Hamish Sopwith.
Yes, good evening, everyone. It's the Austrian Grand Prix. It's the 4.3 kilometre track. Hosts 10 turns. It's a fairly simple track to get right, but it's a difficult track to perfect. Daniel Haddad is the first driver out on track at the moment. Coming up towards turn, turn 4, as you have this long sweeping left-hander that goes into another left-hander, which is turn 6. Then turn 7, difficult to get right. You want to stay right to the edge and make cut cross up towards turn 8 and 9. 8 isn't really a corner, it's flat out. But you have 9 and 10, probably the two most challenging corners on the track, where it's just about feathering the throttle and the brake, making sure you get a nice run towards the start-finish straight. Let's see what he can do. He's a pretty quick driver, Daniele Haddad. He's currently second in the championship, 5th last time out at Paul Ricard. That's a big oversteer moment, and that's probably quite a number of temps for him lost.
Indeed. So here are the track facts for Austria. Has been the Red Bull Ring since 2014, since it was bought by its namesake company. The run of the first quarter is fairly short, which means a good start is essential. There also is the notorious accident in 2017, as champion Brendan Lee found out. Yes, absolutely. Also saw Fernando Alonso jump on top of Kimi Raikkonen heading on down towards turn 3. I think it was last year, possibly year before. Memory fails me on that particular effort. So then there we are, average speed of 240 kilometers an hour, 4.3 kilometer circuit is one of the fastest the drivers will encounter this year. We'll be seeing last year's lap time absolutely demolished. That we shall. It's one of the shortest tracks we have on the calendar, so I'm rather expecting the qualifying to be very, very tight. There are several overtaking spots on this track, and we will see the majority of these overtakes using DRS zones. Drivers will be trying not to outbrake themselves, indeed, and voila, like so. That's ACR Tim actually in Mercedes. We saw a couple of seasons ago against Aresi when he joined us from the PS4 side. That was that last season? Again, memory fails me. Those are the tyres available to us: soft, supers, and hyper or ultra.
Ultra.
It is ultra, yeah. My brain completely failed me there.
Well, it happens to the best of us. It looks like Daniele Haddad has got a decent time, a 103.4. Bearing in mind, last season, Carey, who of course still have, I think, he set a 1 minute 4.9, so already massively faster. I mean, wouldn't it be awesome if we saw someone get under 1 minute? It's not going to happen, but it would be that would be quite an achievement. You never know. Maybe Brendan Lee, maybe if he came in, maybe he'd be able to do something about that. Who knows?
Well, without further ado, let's head down to the hot lap.
Here we are riding on board with ACR Raven as he takes us for a spin around the Red Bull Ring, home of round 9 of the AOR Hype Energy F1 Leagues. Climbing up the hill to start the lap and into turn 1, braking at 100 metres and dropping from 8th gear into 4th for what is a really short apex. Now it's important not to scrub off much speed as you begin the long climb up the hill, through the kink of turn 2 and into the braking zone of turn 3, dropping from 8th gear down into 2nd. Now this is the summit of the circuit, some 60 metres above the start-finish straight, but it's all back downhill from here, opening up the DRS and going down towards the braking zone of turn 4, which is really tricky. Got to hug the inside like your favourite granny. Don't let the car run out onto the curb. You want to avoid that as you now go flat out through turn 5 into the area where the racetrack comes alive. Into the blind entry of turn 6. 5th gear through here, accelerating into turn 7. Throw the car in and then get spat out as you go on to turn 8. Now 2 corners left of what is the shortest circuit on the calendar. Here comes Raven into turn 9. 6th gear, incredible speed through there. The prancing horse gallops round the final corner and up to the line to complete the lap here in Spielberg.
That was a lap on board with ACR Raven, and as commentated by our own Ginger Andy. ACR Raven used to actually be in this very tier, but him being based in America, the timings were rather tricky for him, as you can probably understand. So we're also going to bring up, if I can find it, the standings, and also some statistics for you. We will get to the action, I grant you. Just one more video to run, and it is this one. This is where we currently stand for PCF1. All of our videos, all of our information is lovingly prepared by our staff here at AOR. Tanida dominating the way, 36 points clear of his own teammate of Haddad in second. Carey, with that win last time out in France, bumps him up to third. Donoso, also on the podium last time, jumps up to fourth. Gerrit and Wycombe's falling down to 5th and 6th respectively. Fader in 7th, struggled last time out. We didn't have Slick with us. Photon was actually disqualified from the race last week. He actually, it's a bit of a shame this class is a disqualification because he ended up upside down, to be fair, so it was actually an accident. He didn't do anything wrong. And Crow rounds out our top 10. These are some statistics. We've had 5 wins and 3 poles for Tunisia on that top spot. As you can see, Daniele Haddad's had a win. Carre, as we've mentioned, has had a win. Donoso up in 4th. Bearing in mind he's missed 2 rounds and he's still in 4th position. Donoso doing a pretty decent job there. Garrix has taken a win. Very dramatic form as well for him. Wycombe's Failer, Slick, Photon, and Chromatic, as you can see, rounding out our top 10. There's some very good names below the top 10. Manuel Biancalida, it's White Lilac as he's otherwise known. Danny Beresnay as well. I mean, he's our season 14 champion, and he's right down there in 12th. And Smash non-runner Marek, Nobody, Matt Sorensen, Vito, who replaces Mark 313, Railgun, and Isaac Price is a reserve driver in our league, is actually joining us in this race. So that is going to be good to see. There's the team championship as well. Renault absolutely running off into the distance, near as damn it, double the points of Williams, and Mercedes 3, McLaren 4, Red Bull 5, Ferrari 6, Force India 7, Sabre 8, Haas 9, and Toro Rosso only the pair of points at the bottom of the table.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's amazing how poor Danny has been in terms of performance. Obviously, esports got in the way of that. He was in London a few weeks ago, competing for the title. Wasn't successful in that. Although I'm currently looking at Frey Schneider on his hot lap. So far, so good. Another thing. Carre, he was obviously, like I said earlier, the bolster from last year. He's doing very well at the moment. He has currently got a 1 minute 3.276, puts him just under a 10th behind Formula Danny. Is he going to get his first win of the season today? We know how quick he is. But at the moment, he's only got 1 podium and 2 points finishes, Kodiak. That is a really poor effort from one of the quickest drivers in the world at the moment. So he's going to be hoping that round 9, 9th time lucky, maybe, he will, get on the top step of the podium. It would be good for him. He has a lot of fans. We know how much you guys like him as well. So
there is Isaac Price. He's as he's a reserve driver, of course, he won't be able to use the Williams car every time, as he is part of the Williams esports team. He's in a Haas, so that's going to trip me up, I would imagine, once or twice. So we have 17 cars with us, as you can see. So it's going to be a very packed grid. Formula Danny, just mentioning him, he is currently on the pole spot with a 103.188. Carry is less than a couple of tenths behind us. Let's get the gap. What we've got, well, there we go. It's 87 thousandths behind Danny. I did think that this would be very, very close. And it's half a second separates the top 13. So, yep, I did think that would be the case. Isaac Price is still out there. He's just done a lap, so he'll be on his way back in. Frey Schneider, currently 4th, just a couple of tenths behind. Look at that, 3 thousandths of a second separates Frey Schneider Wycombe's in 5th position. Good effort for him. He's in the pits. And then another 6 thousandths of a second is Chromatic. Now, Chromatic was doing pretty well last time out in France. But we'll see if he's able to have some decent luck. Haddad down his 7th again. The Renault pair really didn't have such a great run last time out. We used to see them at the sharp end of the grid, and it just didn't happen for some reason for them. It basically just didn't go quite the way. We used to them running off into the distance, and they was 5th or 6th. It was still solid results, don't get me wrong, but when the expectation is, as you say, one of the Renault pairs got 5 wins out of the 8 rounds we've had. So when you've got that kind of expectation, it's difficult to be further down the field. Oh, speaking of Chromatic, he's just got the poles on 103.157, 31 thousandths ahead of Formula Danny. Wow, that is we're going to be seeing 102s shortly.
Yeah, we will indeed. Can I just let you know the average gap between guys at the moment is about 400ths of a second, which is absolutely nuts.
Wow.
That is absolutely bonkers. Chromatic, what a lap time from him for McLaren. Obviously, they've changed the Renault engine for a Mercedes for this particular
That's it. Yeah.
However, like you say, the 2 Renaults aren't doing a fantastic job at the moment. Daniele Haddad is currently on a hot lap. He's currently, I'll let you know his sector times. He's currently going He's quicker in the first sector by half a tenth. He's coming through the second pretty shortly. So I wonder if he will be able to improve on that lap time. Currently coming through 7. Flooring it on the throttle as early as possible. Going past the pole sitter at the moment, Chromatic, into turn 9, which will then become turn 10. So far, so good. A little bit wide. He won't get penalised for it. He doesn't want to go too wide either on exit. It's not ideal. It is very quick, and it's a 1 minute 3.2, and that hasn't improved his lap time amazingly.
Well, it would have done.
A very quick lap time.
It would have done, but
enough.
he was too wide on the exit of 10. That's what invalidated the lap. 103.2 would have put him at least 4th. So.
Oh yes, yeah, you're right. Actually, no, I didn't notice that at all. I've just been looking at the fastest laps. Tim, I wonder how he's doing. He's actually currently in the pit. Gonna come out pretty shortly, I would have thought. I imagine everyone's going to be qualifying on ultra soft compound tyres as it is.
Yeah, I'd think so.
Good race tire to start on. It's not particularly high tyre wear, this track. It's very much... wow. Look at
Formula Danny.
Wow, about a tenth quicker than Chromatic. He's got a 1 minute 3.0. That's a very quick lap time indeed. If any of you guys can set those sort of lap times, then you're pretty quick.
Wow. Stunner. I was actually on board with Gerrix watching Danny cross the line. Gerrix himself jumped up to 5th, 103.392. So he's not even 4/10 down from the leader at the moment. That was not what I meant to do, that one. So 6 is now just shy of 7/10 from 1st to 14th. Non-runner is a little bit off. Donoso and Railgun have not set a time yet. We haven't seen Railgun for a long time, so I was glad to see him back in the Toro Rosso. Isaac Price has just jumped back up to 4th position with a 103.3 dead. So he's
actually on his hot lap now, Kodiak. He did that a couple of laps ago. So he's recharged his batteries. Currently come towards turn 4. Let's see what he can do. He's a very quick driver, is Isaac. He's didn't sign up for the beginning of the league, but it is good to see him at the moment. He was very fast. Last season he was one of the top competitors, and so far it's so pretty good. He's looking quick. He missed the apex a little bit of turn 7, which isn't ideal, and he has slowed down. He's obviously not happy with that lap. Maybe he's going to go again, or he will just come into the pit, try a fresh set of tyres, and give it one more go. It's a very short hour lap here. It's under 1 minute 30 easily.
It's just under 4 minutes then for our competitors to get any more improvements on the board, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if we had a massive flurry of cars come out. We've got Chromatic and nobody coming out on circuit. Slick is out on track. He's just coming back in the Sauber, so I would imagine everyone's going to try and get a decent slot to come out. Slow with that one down, Slick, which he does. So yeah, it's going to be that's someone else coming out. Who is that leaving the pits? Daniele Haddad? No, he's already out on circuit. So one of the Renaults out there. Toro Rosso. Chromatic is winding up to do another timed lap pretty soon. His DRS is open, storming on through. He's on his hot lap indeed. That is turn 3. I think he's just coming through now. So we'll follow the McLaren through, see if he can get that pole time back.
Yeah, he's had a poor first exit. It's only a 1:16. I wouldn't be... he's short shifting as well, Kodiak. He's not particularly gunning for it, I don't think. Although he's still pushing, but a 1:16 for first exit isn't ideal. Really, you want to be in the 15s. Let's see how we can negotiate 7 and 8. Yeah, pretty good to be honest. It has an element of... he's very much slowed down there. He's going to go for another lap, I would have thought. In fact, no, he's not. He's probably going to come into a pit tyre where...
No, he looks... Is he?
Yeah, no, I think...
I thought he was... No, he is. He's going on.
He's just used all his ERS. Well, not all of it, but a good chunk.
That was a good chunk of it, wasn't it?
Another go. He should have enough to set a quali lap. He's into ERS deployment number 5. You have a scale... you'll be able to see on the bottom right-hand corner of 0 to 5. He's currently on 4, so I don't think he's particularly pushing. I'm not entirely sure why he's still going out, because he could have came to the pits, changed tyres, had a fresh ERS and come out again to potentially get pole, but now that's not going to happen. So
strange but true.
So that is a little bit odd from Chromatic, but P2 for him, nonetheless, is very solid indeed. I mean, yeah, his best finish at the moment was actually P4 last time out in Paul Ricard. But he seems quite good at getting points, so hopefully he can improve on that. Maybe he'll get a podium for first time this season, and in his AOR career he's gone, oh, that's very odd. It's a little bit of a strange time. But that's his qualifying over.
Carey is just about to cross the line. He's been pushing hard through the lap. Does he improve? He does. He goes up to
Carey.
Yes,
he
second.
Has gone a little bit quicker. He got up into P2 with 1 minute 3.146. So good job from him. No one's able to touch Formula Danny. He's about to start his hot lap. So very good job from him.
Absolutely. So 40 seconds on the clock then. Chromatic back in the pits. His day is done, as previously mentioned. Everybody other than Chromatic is on track. I'm also keeping an eye on Donoso, who is just about to cross the line. Is this a set time? No, that'll be... Well, he's put a time on the board, but and Chromatic has actually retired. He was back in the pits. That's fair enough. So Donoso has just started his lap. He's his proper time lap. He's full battery, so he should be able to set a decent time. Railgun as well in the Toro Rosso. He's wiggly through turn 4. That was committed, but sorry,
Daniele Haddad has had a major spin on the last corner. He's not improving on P9. That's a very poor position for the guy who is in P2 in the championship, and that is very much his qualifying over. He just span on the last corner and didn't ever get it across the line, so unfortunate for him.
Tim's day is done. He will start no higher than 4th. Garrick 7th. Freyschneider 8th. Daniele Haddad's now down to 10th. Slick in 12th. Railgun is in 15th. So non-runner in 16th. And I think Donoso's still on a lap. Wow, that is close. Photon's retired his car. He will not start any higher than 11th. Where does the Force India of Donoso jump? 12th, 103.5. Wow, that just goes to show you how difficult it is. Barely over a second separates the entire field.
It's only 6/10, 1st to 15th, which is absolutely nuts. How these guys could be so close. Actually, Nisa, his lap was also very poor, Kodak. He must have made a mistake in the early part of the lap, because his first sector was 22 seconds. That's about 7 seconds slower than he should have been. So the Renault's not having a good weekend so far.
No, indeed. 6th and 10th for the Renault pairing, but I jump back to Danny. Obviously, they're all under AI control, and it's a good thing too, because he's got a lot of cars right ahead of him. Well, that's Railgun's car stopped, so he'll start no higher than 16th. The Toro Rosso pair towards the tail of the field. Non-runner, dear oh dear, didn't go well for him. But yeah, Danny, we haven't seen him towards the sharp end for a while, so he'll be quite happy with that, I imagine. And just waiting for the last cars to deem their session as done. I think it's just Anita. Oh, there we go. No, it's another way to say that. Then the final car, which was indeed David Tunisa, or David Tunisa, sorry, as he's Italian to pronounce it correctly. And there we go. The final qualifying positions will pop up shortly. Come on.
So, Formula Danny with the pole at 103.029. Very good job from him. Alvaro Carlton. Well, he got the race win last time, and he's P2 this time. He's going to be pleased with that. About a 10th slower than Danny, so he'd be slightly disappointed the gap is so large, considering the rest of the field. Chromatic very close behind him of the French driver. Isaac, one of the only Brits on the grid. In fact, the only Brit, I think, on the grid, which a bit disappointing for us guys, but oh well. He's in P4. Timp in P5. Tunisia, poor qualifying from Renault. Wycomb's in P7. I think he'll be pleased enough with that. Garrett's in P8. In P9, you have Freyschneider. In P10, you have Daniele Haddad. And then you have Photon Donoso. He's disappointed at P12. Failer, Slick, Nobody, Railgun, and non-runner. Railgun, he's about a second off the pace. Maybe his race pace is going to be a little bit better.
Well then, it is bone dry, so no odd strategies going on as far as wet weather tyres are concerned. We will see then how these guys manage their tyres. That is, of course, always the kind of main element of, particularly for a lap that's so short. Not as Hamish mentioned, it's not a particularly tyre destroying track, this one, but there is a lot for our drivers to deal with. One mistake is going to be exceedingly costly, whereas in the bigger tracks, that if you make a mistake early on, or if you put it in the wall early on, it's a long way to come home. But the guys now on the parade lap. So,
yeah, absolutely. Oh, sorry, Kodak. Yeah, absolutely. A mistake round here is the lap is just over a minute long. Probably we're looking at 1 minute 5 for race pace. So in terms of the percentage and how much time you lose is greater than any other track. It is the fastest track on the calendar. It's actually 65% full throttle. So it's also one of the highest full throttle percentages on the calendar, apart from maybe Monza, which is a little bit higher. It's more like 70%. But yeah, hopefully we're going to see some good overtaking, especially with DRS straights we have. And there's some good opportunity. So even the Renault guys who are starting 6th and 10th, they may very well be able to move themselves up the field. And it's strange, we're already near the end of the formation lap. It's happening so quickly.
Yeah, you can't. When you think about Spa, which is heading more towards a 2-minute lap, and you almost have to kind of fill the air with something when talking about a parade laps along, and in the blink of an eye, this one's already done. So 36 racing laps is what we will have with us today, and towards the tail end of that, we will have the driver of the day element open up. That's not available until around about lap 26 there or thereabouts. So keep an eye out for that. The link will be posted in the chat for you guys to vote upon it. Right, the guys are... Oh, I'm just making one more adjustment. That's why that window popped up. Apologies for that. Right, so our drivers are forming up then for the start of round number 9. We are almost at the halfway point of the season. And whilst the Renaults are holding quite a stranglehold, it is certainly not anything that can't be overcome. We've seen them fall once, but here we go then. It is the 5 lights into time to wind them up and let them... Wait for it, and oh no, Friesland with a jump start, terrible start for him, but a decent start for Formula Danny, covers Alvaro Carrington off. That's Isaac already coming up to 3rd ahead of the McLaren of Chromatic. What a decent start, bearing in mind he's a reserve driver in this league, and he's already up into 3rd position of the Haas. Great effort for him. Garrison White comes side by side. There comes the Williams. Look at that. That's Tim on the back of Chromatic, challenging for that 4th position. Oh, very, very close coming through turn number 3. There may be a little bit of contact further back, but everyone's still running so far. Look at that. That's Tim piling the pressure on Chromatic for 4th. Now coming into turn 4 for the first time in anger, and Alvaro Carrington right on the tail of Formula Danny for the lead. And as you imagine, no one is particularly far apart at the moment. There doesn't seem to be any massive gaps, so far so good.
Yeah, absolutely. Frischlander actually got a really poor start as well as jumping it. He actually didn't get up the grid as well. You have Tim on Chromatic, him the Williams, right outside of him, McLaren, braking at about 50 metres. He's not able to make anything stick. Going through turn 9 now. If he can get a good exit, he might have a chance into turn 1. He has got a good exit, has Tim. He's going on to the inside, almost hitting the wall. Schumacher, Barrichello moment into turn 1, and he's got the move round the inside. Awesome job from there. Garrix is going to have a go on the McLaren as well. It's a good qualifying Chromatic so far, not a good race. Who's going to be the latest of the late breakers? You don't want to go in the back of the guy ahead. That was very close with Chromatic. He doesn't quite plan to the back of from Williams, but it was close.
It was very, very close. Look at the train here. That is quite an impressive collection.
You got Tunisia on. Y comes as well around the outside for turn. What was it for? What an awesome job by him. That was a really great move, and he's able to make it stick as well.
Wow, Isaac Price up to 2nd. I think Carrington's made a mistake as he was right behind Formula Danny for a while. Danny's got a little bit of a gap, so he will hopefully get the timings back up shortly. And that, is that Carey coming in? Freyschneider has been in as well, so there's definite problem then for the Williams as he comes into the pits very, very early. And there we go. That just goes to show Isaac Price's pace. Gets his name on the fastest lap board. Timp now up to 3. Chromatic 4. DRS now available to our drivers. But Formula Danny's already out of that range, as is Isaac to Tim. But Chromatic is just about hanging on in there off the back of the Williams. Then you've got Garrix, who's up to 5th position. He's up 3 from where he started. Decent effort for him in the second Mercedes. He's going to get DRS. Here we go. It's pretty effective, but of course when the whole stream of cars has it, then it does rather render it semi-ineffective for yourself. Yep, Carey has had a wing change. What a great show.
King-Kodiak Denoso goes into the side of Photon, although he didn't actually spin. He did hit a Ferrari pretty hard, and that is cost him quite a lot of time. He's up into P9 is Denoso, but he's doing a good job. Another thing to note, Chromatic has a little bit of front wing damage. It's a couple of end plates, which unfortunately around here, being such a high-speed track, will affect him by a couple of attempts each lap. It's not like he's, lost a front wing or anything, but that might be why he's losing a little bit of pace to Tim, and Garrix is able to stay right on the back of the McLaren car.
Indeed, so the top 7 on the Ultras. Photon is the lead super soft runner at the moment. Slick, Failer, and Carey's just gone onto the soft tyres due to that early pit stop he's had. Isaac Price is closing in on Formula Danny, so we will have a battle for the lead. Well, he's essentially already there very, very soon. I see Denoso has managed to get ahead of the Ferrari of Photon. Looks like Haddad is going to do the same thing on the inside of turn 4. The Ultrasoft equipped Renault then usurping the Ferrari, but the cutback from Photon, has he got the position back? Difficult to tell from that camera angle. He's side by side with the Force India now coming through turn 6. He's still going to be on the outside for 7. Great racing for the pair of them. They've got nobody on the back of Haddad as well, just biding his time with the Ferrari back up to 8th. Nicely done there by the Ferrari. But he's got some way to go, and Isaac Price is now within DRS range of Formula Danny, so that Haas is really charging on. Great effort for the Williams esports driver.
Yeah, absolutely. He's doing a stunning job, is Isaac at the moment. He just comes in and he's able to get the job done. And we saw this a lot last season. He's very quick. Sometimes he always has his off races, as we all do. But he's a very quick driver. With DRS as well, it's going to make it much closer. He's going to have DRS down after turn 3 up to 4, but he's not going to be able to make use of it because he got a fairly poor exit of 3. But as long as he can stay behind Formula Danny, there's plenty of chance he has to make that move stick. Also, Photon, what good driving from the Photon, the Force India of Denoso, the Renault of Haddad, and nobody's just got a great seat to watch it all unfold. If any of these drivers ahead of him make a mistake, nobody's going to be there to pick up the pieces of Haddad possibly having a look on Denoso very shortly. He's in the dirty air. This is where the dirty air really does affect you, because you just simply don't have a front end grip you want. But Haddad's doing a good job to compensate for that at the moment. Maybe he's got a slightly higher front wing.
Into turn 1 then for our lead pair, as Price still sizes up the possibility of getting ahead of the Mercedes esports driver. Isn't that ironic? The top 3 represented by esports teams. Railgun is the first man, with the exception of Freyschneider, to get a penalty on the board. What a shame. Not the way he would have wanted to return to the season, but that is the nature of the beast. Here comes the house drivers who got DRS, keeping himself in contention. Formula Danny locks up a little bit. Those Ultrasoft possibly crying a little bit, but they should be good from what I understand to about lap 11 or so, but it does depend on how many laps these tyres have already had on them, of course. Oh, Danny possibly a bit wide on the exit of 6. Here they come through 7 and 8. The Haas is very much keeping the pressure on. He's 1.3 ahead of Timp, so he doesn't have any immediate danger from behind. Timp is also clear of Chromatic. Chromatic's got a decent train behind him of Garrix, Tanita, and Wycom. Speaking of what's happened to Tanita, he's in the pits. So, oh no, it's Garrix in the pits, I beg your pardon. Of course, the pit lane entry does kind of circumvent that last turn, so it does upset the order slightly, and he's going to come out on super soft tyres, so he'll be back in the pits before the race is done. But look at Isaac Price. He doesn't want to wait for tyres to wear out. He wants to get the job done on track. Through turn 3, then streaming on down the back straight, heading towards 4. He's in the He's in the slipstream of the Mercedes. Is he going to dive on the inside of 4? He's a very brave man to do so. But again, Danny locks up in that braking zone. Now through 4 into 5, coming into 6. Danny has got it all to do. But of course, the more they fight, the more this could bring Tim into contention. But we'll see if that is the case. And now 1.5 seconds between the Haas and the Williams. Formula Danny looks like he's really sliding around. He's really struggling for traction in the Mercedes. Does Formula Danny looks like he's going to come in? Is Price going to do it? No, Price stays out. I thought he might, just to get a decent lap with no one ahead. He of course has DRS because he was in the detection zone off the back of the Mercedes. So he's going to essentially drag Tim with him. And actually Tim is now within DRS range of Isaac Price, if he can just about stay there. So Isaac may have just lost a little bit of time avoiding Formula Danny. Super soft on another penalty for Railgun. Again, a great shame for him. So Supersofts on to the Mercedes of Formula Danny. He's going to come out around about 14th. He does indeed, with Freyschneider right behind him. So the new leader then is the Haas of Isaac Price.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing that I've noticed with Isaac Price is his ERS. He's been able to conserve that really well. He's got the best tyre wear on the grid, Kodiak. 43% tyre wear. When Formula Danny came in, he had 53%. That's an extra 10% upon Isaac Price. He seems unstoppable at Haas at the moment. He's still got 93% of his ERS deployment available to him. I think he's going to go probably another lap because he's not coming in this lap, that's for sure. It's very obvious when the driver is coming into the pit around this track, and he's doing a good job so far. Tim, just outside DRS, if you brake well, in fact, the detection zone is actually between turn 10 and turn is between turn 9 and 10, so he did get DRS on that particular section of the track. But Tim is just going to want to close in. Garrett's with a good lap as well, and he was doing a decent job before he came in. Although I was a bit surprised that he came in as early as he did, because it sort of he could have gone on for longer. He has to come in back into the pits anyway. So I'm not entirely sure why he came in. Maybe he was just in a bit of traffic which he wanted to clear, which would make sense. He came in, 3 laps before Formula Danny, so her strategy might work.
Look at this train. Always nobody runs a bit wide off the exit of 6, but he has got... This train, we can see, is basically third Chromatic, then Tunisia, Wycom's, Photon, Donoso, Haddad, and Nobody. So that's 3rd to 9th in this train, all with DRS of one another. So Haddad is staying right with... Oh, Nobody gets himself a penalty. That was a bit of a shame. We were on board with him when he did that. There's the Ferrari of Photon, keeping Wycom's in check, who himself is piling on the pressure to Tunisia. No, Donoso now with a penalty, which is so easy to do. It's quite a number of fast... There's only 10 corners, and most of them are pretty fast. So, one small mistake will send you off the track.
Oh, wow. So you got Railgun having a go on Slick round the outside. Going to get a switchback in his Toro Rosso. The Alfa Romeo Sauber, decent exit, actually, to be honest, from Slick. I could give him 1 point.
Sorry, Hamish. That's Chromatic and Tunisia. The Renault on the outside of the McLaren coming through turn 4. Who's going to win out of this one? So the McLaren's going to have the outside for the next 2 turns. Can he get it done, though? He's a little bit wide. He's hung on to it. That was very nicely done. That was brave. But look at that. I mean, each car is pretty much attached to each other with a rope at the moment. Photon's in a fairly decent spot. He's still on those super soft tyres. That's Donoso, and I think Haddad coming in as well. But the rest of the train continuing on, as is Timp and Price.
Guys, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
There's thousandths of a second. I don't think he's gonna... Well, he might have a go at Chromatic into turn 4. Turn 3, sorry. If he does, it'll be a good job. DRS wide open, a couple of 100 miles an hour around the outside into turn 3. He's going to get the switch right now. He's coming up the inside, and he's been hit by the Red Bull of Wycombe. But luckily, Wycombe slows down, although that means the Ferrari of Photon goes past the Red Bull of Wycombe, and the Ferrari of Photon is behind David Tunisia, who is behind Chromatic, this is an awesome battle developing for, well, which is effectively the podium spot at the moment. Timp also isn't making the gains I thought he would do on Isaac as well.
He's falling off
They're
badly.
coming in very, very... In fact, Isaac's tyres are better than anyone else on the Ultra Softs. It's about 7% better than anyone. Photon going around the outside, although I do think Tornisa and Chromatic are both coming into the pits.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. Wycombe's attached to the Ferrari of Photon. He's going to have DRS, which he has opened, which he didn't open straight away. Is he able to make a move into turn 3? We will find out.
I reckon Wycombes is in trouble because, again, we're getting to the point where it's commonly, from what I understand, the common point to get rid of those Ultrasofts around about 11 or lap 12. Both the cars around him, Nobody and Photon on the Supersoft tires. Whoa, that is close. I'm not convinced the Red Bull's really got anything left. So it's going to be a real struggle for Wycombes to hang on to that 4th position. But that's a great back shot, actually, from the Ferrari of Photon. And again, a lock-up then for the Red Bull. That's Nobody getting right under the rear wing of Wycombes on board with the Toro Rosso. Slick is 4.5 seconds behind, but he's on the soft tyres, so do bear in mind we're seeing a few contra strategies going on, and there is just indicative of how little grip Wycombes got. The tail just does not want to stick whatsoever. Surely he's going to come in. There he goes. That's the big indication from a driver. I am coming into the pits. Don't slam into the back of me. Oh, even still is very close. So Wycombes in finally brings his car in. Timp and Isaac Price doing the same thing at the same time. Oh, Wycombes, no. Again, he probably just had nothing left to slow his car down. So Photon back in the lead in the Ferrari. 1.3, 1.4 ahead of Nobody, who doesn't have DRS range to worry about. Slick, his tyres are going to start to come good, I would have thought. But look at the train behind. That's Danny, Railgun, Non-Runner and Failer. So Jan Failer also soft shot in the McLaren. Non-Runner with DRS open. There's a big move from the McLaren on the outside. Oh, turn 3 in the Red Bull. What a stunning drive. Oh, what a terrible drive for Non-Runner, but a great drive as well from the McLaren to thunder past Non-Runner up into 6th place. Great effort there from the McLaren drivers. Danny on the outside has just absolutely flown past. We were watching on board with Jan Failer at the time, and Danny just absolutely flew past Slick to get back up into 3rd position on those fresh super soft tyres. What a great effort there from our pole sitter. And there he is. Wow, look at the gap he's already formed to Slick. Slick is those soft tyres aren't working for him at the moment, it would seem. They've got him up to 4 due to other people's pit stops, but not giving him the bite he would need. And there is Railgun with Failer in hot pursuit as well. So the McLaren.
Oh, wow. Sorry, Kodiak. I've just been watching Wycombes. He had an absolutely awful turn 10, and Haddad just went up the inside. That's a big move, because that's very much battling for the podium positions now. After all the guys have came into the pits and what have you. You know, that's the likes of Photon. Go on.
Slick just had a big oversteer moment, and maybe a tiny bit of contact between himself and Railgun there at turn 3. But I thought he was going to pitch into the wall. Oh, that is impact between. Well, hell, good save by Slick. That the front left of Railgun just tapped the rear right of Slick. Oh, and there is Jan Failer on the outside, coming through turn 6. Can the McLaren do the move? No, he can't. He slots back behind. Just reminding Railgun, I'm still here. There's Garrix. There's Isaac Price just coming into the top.
It's Failer of the inside of turn 9, maybe.
Oops, I'm gone to the wrong car. There we go.
Almost holding on and not quite. In fact, he's made a big mistake there. Lost a bunch of time. Someone in chat was asking if Chromatic had a new. He hasn't had a new wing. He just came in for soft tyres. He's decided that it's not affecting him enough to know so with a penalty. Let's just quickly go through the penalties. Chromatic has 3 seconds of penalties. Wycombes has 3 seconds of penalties. Denoso has 6 seconds of penalties. We know he can be.
Oh, impact! Oh, that was Jan Failer. Yeah, Failer in the back of Railgun.
Well, amazingly, Kodiak, there's no wing damage. Railgun's going very, very slowly, relatively, down that straight, and that's a fairly simple move there by the McLaren driver, who someone else just picked up a penalty who I didn't actually see.
It was Freischneider.
Was it Freischneider? So he has a 3-second penalty. Nobody has a 3-second penalty. Railgun with 9 seconds of penalty.
Ouch.
So I'm not sure how hard he's going to be fighting, but He wants to finish 9 seconds ahead of the driver behind, and at the moment, the top 15 aren't even covered by 20 seconds.
Yeah, that's the nature of a shorter circuit, isn't it? I mean, we're already fast approaching the halfway point. We're on lap 16. You know, and that's absolutely flown by. Which I mean, I always say that. I grant you. I mean,
Beach races are never boring.
Yeah, absolutely. That is one thing we are guaranteed upon in this top split. Is absolutely amazing racing from our finest on the PC side. Why comes another penalty for him in the Red Bull, but Formula Danny streaming on, no one behind him as that camera rather proves, but that is the view in front. Photon has yet to come in, I think. Just get that. Yes, indeed. So the only people that haven't come in yet are Photon, Slick, Failer and Railgun. So yeah, hence why the position change is standing as it is. Let's just bring up the tyre. There we go. That's what we want to
Isaac's going to have a move on Railgun. We know how quick he was earlier on in the race. In fact, Isaac is the first of the guys to pit, and he's still got a good gap. Right, Railgun is actually going to come into the pit.
Photon's in, so the lead goes back over to Formula Danny. And yeah, Railgun.
Oh yeah, so he has. Oh yeah, sorry. No, I didn't think. I did Formula Danny pit then.
He's pitted already, yes. But,
oh yes, so he has. Oh sorry, I thought Isaac was the lead driver on track, but of course he's got Garrick's as well. Although Garrick's had that slightly strange strategy where he came in very, very early. So the McLaren of Failer,
Garrick's is wide.
Yeah, and Isaac is going to have a go on the Mercedes, potentially into turn 4. They both have DRS. Who has the lower wing? It doesn't seem to make any difference at the moment. Isaac really pushing the limits of what the car can do. And got an awesome move on the inside of turn 4. That's going to set him up nicely now for 6 and 7. Turn 5 is a turn, but it doesn't really seem like a turn because it's quite like a. It's like turn 2 here, and it's like the first corner in Canada. It's just a flat-out section. But a good job from the Williams driver. Not a Williams driver, of a, Haas driver.
I said that was going to catch us out, didn't I?
I did. I was looking at the
name.
You know, at the name and stuff. And it's caught me out before you. And he's right on the back of a McLaren, and he's going to get a good exit with the fresher, soft compound tyres. Is he going to make a move on Jan Failer? I think he is. I doubt he's going to have a look on Slick as well, unless he's slow, and that's probably one car down into turn 3. Yes, it is. He's got the good traction, so good job from him. Next driver up is Slick. Is he going to make a move into turn 4 under the braking point? And he's gone very, very late. He's hit the apex. He's pushing Slick out wide, and that is move done. What an incredible bit of driving from Isaac. Hopefully, we will get to see him in the league full time sooner rather than later.
Absolutely, great effort then from our reserve driver, but also Garrix and Donoso having a bit of a moment, a couple of cars behind them. But this is an absolutely great train. Actually, Tanita and Carrington are not too far off the bat. They're actually in DRS range of this train as well. So yeah, that could well get a bit longer. Although Carrington, his tyres will soon start screaming enough. He's been on those since the start. Since near the start. Of course, he had that lap 1 incident that caused a front wing change. Oh, that's a big snap moment there for Jan Failer in the McLaren. But look at this lot already. Isaac Price has got himself nearly 7/10 of a gap between himself and Slick. But everybody is just jostling for positions, and that's Garrett. Oh, what a move by Donoso. Dives on the inside of the super soft shod at Mercedes. It seems that Garrick's tyres have got nothing left. And there you see Slick defending from Failer, and Garrick's trying to move on the outside coming through turn 4. Doesn't get that done. Donoso's closing that door very, very solidly. But look at Jan Failer on the back of Slick, a little bit slow and cautious coming through 6. That is allowing Isaac Price to just run off into the distance. Oh, and you saw Donoso had the drive coming out of 7, but had nowhere to use it. So you just had to back out of that. Has got to bide his time. We are over the halfway point of this race now, and just absolutely anything could happen in this pack.
Yeah, absolutely. Donoso's on the back of a McLaren of Failer. Is he going to try and move both of them with DRS on the inside? Turn 1, 2, which is turn 1. Yes, sorry, this is turn 2 all coming up. That's caught me out, as it always has done. And in fact, you're talking about get tyres that are still side by side.
Oh, 3! Oh, that's going to be a 3 wide going into turn 3!
It's a little bit hairy. In fact, it's going to be
Tunisia.
another Williams. In fact, it's going to be 4 wide if we're not
Oh,
careful.
my
We've got
God.
Garrick, Tim, Bale, and Carrington all in that shot. Absolutely nuts. And it looks like Carrington's able to hold on. He's got an awesome seat for this particular battle. Is he going to make a move on Failer? Garrick, bizarrely, his tyres are not too bad. He is going to have to come into the pit, but not just yet. They could be much worse, but they're okay, to be honest. That Jan Failer has worse tyres on the grid. Let's see if Carrington's going to make a move. I think he is. Oh, no, I wouldn't do that.
Oh, here he goes.
Failer is going to want to come into the pit. I would have thought. No, he isn't. That is a big surprise, actually. I thought he would do, because his tyres. Well, if he doesn't come in this lap, they are going to punch the next lap. So
yeah,
he's right on the edge. Railgun with another penalty. If he was on the point board for the penalties, he would be collecting 15 extra points this race.
Look at this. Again, there's overtaking, there's punch and counterpunch going on in this entire pack. How no one died in that 4 wide. Oh, and there's a big oversteer moment for Jan Failer. Garrix gets a tap from Chromatic, I think that was. We're on board with Wycombs, who's actually sat in 10th. There goes Haddad on the inside of Failer coming up to turn 4. And Tunisia had a brilliant run, actually, to bypass that. When we were doing that 3 wide last lap, Tunisia shot past everybody. He's now up to 4th. He's got Tim in short succession. Garrix trying to do something on the outside of Wycombs with the much fresher tyres flies through, and there goes Chromatic as well, looking to demote Garrix even further. Surely the Mercedes has got to come in. Those tyres are just doing absolutely nothing for him. And and that looked like a bit of impact. Yep, that's Carey is indeed in. Formula Danny's in again. So I mean, we did expect him in. Those super softs were never going to last the whole distance. Isaac Price's tyres will be pretty second-hand, but could well last to the end. So that's going to put Formula Danny down quite a long way behind this pack that we're looking at. And nobody gets his name on the penalty board. And so, yeah, Wycom's now up to 6th. Chromatic and Garrix having their battle, as you can see. There is nobody, Photon and Formula Danny. Oh, there's the Mercedes only just out of the pit side by side coming into turn 3. Just about hangs on the Ferrari, holds off the Mercedes for now, but it's going. I just don't know who to look at. It's going off everywhere.
There's too much action going on. He's going to get a move on the outside. No, he's going to have a switchback potentially. No, he isn't. He's just going to stay behind the McLaren of Chromatic. Garrix's tyres really are shot though, so do not expect him to. In fact, I expect him to come to the pits this lap. I've just noticed Danny was on those super soft tyres. Although Isaac, his tyres are only on 5-ish% out of 70%. So he's doing a really good job so far, is Isaac.
Garrix is in.
In fact, and he is in, Garrick. He's done 10 laps as Isaac, and they're only on 25%. I think his tyres are going to last to the end of the race. Will Formula Danny make a move? And Formula Danny has Photon to negotiate, and he's done that pretty well. He's now on the back of Nobody, who is going relatively slow up the hill into turn 3. And wow, he's just
2 cars in 3 corners.
As the season 14 champion, one of the quickest drivers we have ever seen of Formula Danny. Remember that season Kodiak we commentated every single race.
Yes.
He's pretty much unstoppable, and so far he's showing us why he is one of the fastest drivers in the world. He's got Chromatic, and then White comes to negotiate a little bit further up the road. He has Daniele Haddad, Ben Tim, who is right behind the Renault of David Torniza, who isn't coming into the pits at the moment. Their tyres are all fairly fresh, probably attempting the one-stop strategy. Denosto, though, he's been pretty impressive. What a poor qualifying Kodiak. P12, currently in P2. His tyres are about the same as Torniza in terms of tyre wear. He has got 6 seconds of penalty, unfortunately, but he is doing well in P2. He might be able, I don't think he'd get a podium, but he might get a really good, solid amounts of points as Carey, after coming into the pits, also gets a fastest lap of 105.776.
Nicely done. So Tim keeps the pressure on Tunisia for that last podium spot. Chromatic on the back of Wycombs. That's for battle for 6th. There's Formula Danny. He's already closed in well within that DRS range. Nobody in the Toro Rosso and the Ferrari. Nobody in Photon having a battle on the exit of 4, coming through 6 now. Ferrari on the inside. Can he push that Toro Rosso out? No, nobody hanging on. Whoa! You saw the slide from Photon. He had to get out of that. Well defended by the Toro Rosso. And already, look at that coming through turn 9. Was Danny. He does not want to lose any time at all. He knows he's got to get past everybody as quickly as he can if he wants any opportunity to get towards the front and challenge for the lead. But that was a stunning effort on the inside of 9. Chromatic, either he didn't fight it or he just didn't expect it to happen. Either is perfectly valid, as nobody still fends off Photon. What's the gap to the leader? Danny's got 9.3 seconds to close down, and he's got, 11 laps, 12 laps to do it. There goes Photon in the Ferrari on the inside of nobody, coming into turn 3. Can he get the drive he needs on the exit? Just about. That is 9th position then for Photon, and Danny has cleared Wycombe's already coming into turn 4. My goodness, Danny is absolutely charging, but he's got to just nail absolutely everybody. He cannot leave anything on the table. So those tyres are going to be utterly toast by the time that he gets anywhere near Isaac Price. But then Isaac would have been on those tyres for quite a long time. He's been on them for 12 laps already. So again, will Isaac, the two questions will be, if Danny does catch Price, will he have anything to attack him with? And equally, will Price have anything to defend with? So the real big mover at the moment is Formula Danny. Let's see how he's able to do. Tim still on the back of Tunisia as Haddad. That's rare. He gets himself a 3-second penalty as well. And Tunisia looks like he was going to make a sort of defensive intention there, but didn't quite commit to it. Tim rather biding his time behind the Renault. And look at that. Danny is closed in on Haddad already. So has Price got a... I don't think Price has got a penalty yet, has he?
No, I think he hasn't got a penalty. I don't know if it's a good time to go through the penalties. 10 lap. 4 V's drivers left. Although Formula Danny is right on the back of the Renault. How's he going to fare?
Oh,
no,
my goodness!
What a move by Formula Danny up the inside of turn 6. He's showing why he's one of the fastest drivers.
Wow!
Brenton Lee in chat actually asking, that's last year's champion, how we have this information about the tyre wear, things like that. What it is, we have an app outside of the game, and it allows me in particular to see what the drivers are. It just gives me an idea on what percentage of tyre wear each driver has. It's a fantastic app. So thank you so much for the guy who created it. I can't remember his name, but we'll be sure to give him a shout out. Another race, because it has been invaluable information for me and Kodiak, especially the strategy. Formula Danny is now trying to close it in on the Williams driver of Tim, the actual Williams driver of Tim.
Yes.
And although saying that, Tim is right behind Tornisa as well, doing quite well in the Renault, to be fair. In fact, all these drivers are. He didn't get a brilliant start. Although I'm just wondering if their tyres are going to last to the end of the race, Kodiak. Tim has 42% tyre wear. Tunisia and Donoso have about 52%, so an extra 10%. They pitted on around the same lap time, but Tim is just simply better at conserving his tyres. Tunisia so far leading the championship. Tim is going to really, he's going to really wonder. His extra point placed is going to give him a whole host. Tunisia also has 3 seconds of penalty. Wow.
Here comes Tim. DRS open on Tunisia. There he goes on the inside of turn 3. Can he get the move done? He's nosed ahead. Yes, he does. But is Tunisia going to have an attack on the inside coming toward? No, of course, the Williams still has DRS from the back of the Renault. So that's going to be a job done then for Tim. Now up into 3rd position. Tunisia just has to hang on and basically reverse the roles next time around. Does look like Donoso is actually reading in Isaac Price. What's happened to Haddad? He's just suddenly lost Chromatic and lost a position to Chromatic and Wycombe's. Those guys still having a battle.
Look how close they are.
Yeah, absolutely. Wycombe's and Chromatic side by side through 6. We've seen this so many times this race. Now through 7, still side by side for the McLaren and the Red Bull through 8. And who's going to blink first? Chromatic's going to have the next 2 inside lines. Surely Wycombe's is going to have to slot on the inside, which he does. Well done to the McLaren of Chromatic then. Yeah, it was Haddad that lost out on that again.
Hazard almost loses it. In fact, very similar to what he almost did in qualifying as
He
well.
was, yeah.
Fire comes right on the back of Chromatic. This is an absolutely fantastic bang. Chromatic with a slight touch of oversteer. Wycomb's with the DRS behind the McLaren driver, darting to the left. He's not going to try a dummy. Is he going to try something around the outside? He's trying a bit of earlier braking. Maybe he's going to try a switchback. He's not able to make it work. DRS though still for Wycomb's in the Red Bull. Is he going to try it into turn 4? The braking zone for this corner is the Rolex side, and he's got the move so far. Chromatic on the inside. They're still side by side. They're side by side this point last lap, and they still are. And it looks like Chromatic has just held on to that 6th position.
Very well defended by Chromatic. He's doing everything he can. And let's not forget that these drivers are the best in the PC format for F1 2018. Wycombs, for instance, is the AOR iRacing GTE champion. He was crowned that a couple of weeks ago. I was fortunate enough to commentate on the tail end of that series. So these guys are amazing in so many different disciplines. But they are really giving us a great display. Formula Danny is actually within DRS range of David Tunisia for 4th. So another 3-car train is going on there. We'll check in with that in a minute. Haddad does look like he's fallen a little bit off the back. And there's Photon actually in the Ferrari that now joins the back of this particular train. Here comes Wycombs again on the inside of 3. Oh, a bit of a lock-up then. Just a nudge on the back of the McLaren. And no harm done so far. We'll check in with Formula Danny soon. A back shot then from the Red Bull of Wycombs for Haddad and Photon. Is the Renault going to fend off the Ferrari? Whoa! Of course, you get that concertina effect. I cringe, but it may look absolutely fine for them. Brace yourself for impact that absolutely isn't there. Look at this. That's Danny on the back of Tunisia for 4th. Let's see. We've seen some amazing overtaking manoeuvres from Formula Danny leading up to this point, but I doubt he's got the tyre life left to try too many of those crazy moves. Tunisia doesn't get such a great run on the exit of turn 10. Here comes Danny. Surely this is going to be job done coming into turn 1. He's side by side. Whoa, there he goes. Tiny bit of lockup. And wow, that is absolutely amazing. 4th for Formula Danny. He's just narrowly outside of DRS range of Tim. But we checked in with him earlier. When I checked the time gap between himself and the lead, it was 9 seconds. It is now 4.3 between Danny and the leader. But of course, we are running out of laps. We only have 6 of them to do, or 5.5 now. So he's running out of laps. But or more importantly, is he running out of tyres before he gets there?
Well, this is another interesting one about Kodiak. Denoso is catching... Well, he's actually closing in on Isaac. He was about... In fact, Isaac must have made a mistake. He was 1.8 was Denoso, so he's now just 1.3 behind Isaac. He is closing in slowly, although Denoso has that penalty. So does he go for the move and basically hold up Isaac, which potentially will allow Danny to come through? Although, Danny, he hasn't even had to, stay behind any of the drivers. He's just, as soon as he's got on the back, he gets to move down. Denoso with another penalty. That's 9 seconds of penalties for the Force India driver. Is Danny going to have a go on Tim? We know they're pretty close, these drivers. Tim isn't going to make it too hard, I don't think, and not really. Danny sort of just... In fact, if anything, Danny is actually going quicker by being behind these drivers because he's able to overtake them so quickly. Denoso is next up the road. It was 4.6. It is now 3.6 between Formula Danny and Isaac. And at the moment, Kodiak, he's got a real good chance of winning this race as Formula Danny. It'll be the first race he would have won this season if he is able to do that. He has...
Sorry, Hamish, that's the battle. Wycomb's Chromatic Photon. The McLaren is now behind the Red Bull and has just managed to fend off the Ferrari. Daniele Haddad is just behind them, so he could well get interested. Carrington was there earlier, but he was right in there, so he must have made a mistake, and the McLaren having to defend it hard against the Ferrari. So he's got it all to do in the closing stages of the race. We only have 4 laps left, but keeping an eye very much on this front pack. There they are. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in that shot. Danny is 1.6, so this is the first time in a long time he hasn't had DRS, and another collection of penalties being applied. We won't know, basically, who's finished where until the penalties have been applied. But has Danny finally burned the best out of those tyres? He's already borderline for fuel. You can see on the overlay that fuel light blinking yellow. He's very, very close to using up too much fuel. But by the end of the race, that will start blinking red as the tank is nearly dry. But the front two guys don't have anything there to worry about, Isaac Price and Fabrizio Donoso. So Danny, after such a spirited charge, may have nothing left, but that's not stopping him. He's charging on nonetheless. There is Tim, right on that, right on the cusp of not having DRS. Oh, what's happened in sector 2? Oh, where's Haddad? Oh no, the Renault is miles off the track at turn 6, I think that is. Oh, big problem there for Haddad. He was right in that battle with Wycombs and Chromatic. Huge problem there for the second Renault. Oh no, well, there's nobody in non-runner just coming past him. Oh, what a shame for Daniele Haddad.
Yeah, it's a big shame. In fact, well, let me tell you, in fact, Danny is on the back of Donoso. Let me tell you what the tyre wear is like. Isaac has 60% tyre wear. Formula Danny has 49% tyre wear. His tyre wear is actually okay, to be honest, Kodiak. It's going to level out on the last lap. Is he going to try and move on the outside of Donoso? Maybe with a switchback. Donoso has really poor tyre wear. Danny's wing almost comes off as he goes around turn 3. He's going to have a look at the inside, and that's a move done into turn 6. Ben leading on to 7. He's just got a couple of laps to close in on Isaac and get the race lead. These are two drivers who haven't got penalties. They're doing pretty so far. Their fuel is about the same. Their ERS is about the same. It's just a case of which driver is quicker on this particular day. And at the moment, Danny is really charging. Isaac will have no answer if Danny's able to close in. They've got 2 full racing laps. It's about 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go. Who is going to win this race?
It is anybody's. There's less than 2 seconds to close down. He's got no DRS to use, certainly this time. He's not at full crank. Danny's got no ERS at all. So he's losing quite a bit. And to be fair, Enterprise isn't much better. So he's got not a lot to defend with. But this could well be the undoing of Danny's charge. And you can see that gap is already beginning to rise between the Mercedes and the Haas driver as Chromatic. And that's... No, hello, Carrington. I think Chromatic's probably struggling somewhat with his tyres. Another penalty for Haddad. He had a pit lane speed limit penalty. Oh, he's coming back on the Williams. Oh, wow, that was a little bit elbows out for Chromatic, trying his best to do something about that, but keeping an eye on the lead battle. Here they come to finish, and another penalty for Haddad. That is a shame, and Haddad is out. He's called it a day. What a great shame for him. I think he's just retired his car. Oh, he has indeed just left the session, so we do not know where he is. But the final lap then. Oh, there he is. He actually hit the wall. So that's a fairly dead Renault there.
Wing damage, to be honest with you, Kodiak. I'd probably make the same decision. I mean, I would always try and finish the race regardless. Though I think Danny's tyres have ran out at the wrong point. He's 1.5. He is closing in, but it won't be fast enough. Maybe if there's 38 laps, he'd have a more of a chance.
Timp on Donoso. Challenge for 3rd position. I mean, Donoso's got a lot of penalties anyway, so... Oh, that was...
9 seconds to 3 seconds, Cody.
So, Tim doesn't have to necessarily make the move on track, but he is pressing on nonetheless. But this race, what a way to make your statement on the series. Stands in for one of the Haas drivers, and then goes to... It doesn't take the pole, but it does look like he's going to take the win. Fastest lap is going to go to...
Carrington. It's 105.
Carrington, yeah. But your winner here in Austria is the Haas of Isaac Price. Second...
He did make the move on Donoso and get past.
Oh, nice.
Sneezer jumps Donoso as well. In fact, Wycombs may very well jump Donoso as well if he's not okay. No, yes, he does. In fact, Photon jump Wycombs, Carrington, Chromatic. Garrick's coming across the line. Slick. In fact, Wycombs is really falling down. 14 seconds of penalty. Frey Schneider in P12. Nobody in P13. He moves up because of non-runners penalties in P. Jan Baylor in P.
Jumps up to 14.
Jumps up to 14. And nobody in P15 in the end. Rail God in P16 and Haddad. In fact, it is unfortunate that he retired at that point, Kodiak, because it was right at the end of the race. What a race by Isaac Price. what a statement! Like you said, he's such a fast driver. He's actually got a.
That's Brendan Lee's caricature.
Which is
We still see
ironic.
Brendan Lee on the top spot then.
It's not Brendan driving, but it doesn't matter. Isaac Price with the race win, bring the champagne. He's going to be very pleased with that. So potentially, he might make it come back to the league. We hope so, because he was a very quick.
Get your votes in for Driver of the Day. The portal is open. The link is in the chat. It may well have been there for a while, but I've been so absorbed in the race. I wholeheartedly apologise for that. Look at that. Only 5 drivers, I think it was, without a penalty. Isaac Price then taking the win. Danny 2, Tim 3, Tanisa 4, Donoso 5, Photon 6, Carrington 7, Slickade, Garrix 9, and Chromatic taking the last point then of the race. Wow! That's absolutely amazing. Let's see who's going to make themselves available this time.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, there's only 30 seconds or so separating first to 14th. In fact, it might be a little bit less than that. Yeah, pretty much first to 14th was covered by only just over 30 seconds. That's absolutely crazy.
Crazy.
Some great racing, really fast lap times. Isaac, what a race. He's got to have my driver of the day for being able to come in to the league like that and just not just win, but almost partly dominate. His strategy was perfect. Formula Danny's strategy might have been a bit quicker, but he had that traffic which must have slowed him down considerably. So it was a shame.
Whew. Well, let's see who is going to speak to us, shall we? We only have Formula Danny at the moment. Now it could be that not everybody was in. Actually, there's only a few in Discord.
Which Isaac Price as well.
Oh yes, a definite must. Hamish is going to grab them over, so that's going to be good to see. As I mentioned, get your vote in for Driver of the Day. It's going to be interesting to see the results of that. So just wait. Are they coming over, Hamish?
They are.
Oh, yes, they are. Right. And also Chromatic has made himself available for interview. Let's grab him over, and there he is. Let's first have a chat with our 10th place finisher, the McLaren of Chromatic. Didn't quite go your way today, so how are you feeling after that one?
I mean, I started with a pretty good qualifying, P3. But then I don't know what happened in the race. I just couldn't find my rhythm. Like the pace wasn't the one I had like I practiced earlier. I'm very disappointed about P10. I was aiming for a much better position. And I don't know what happened to the braking boards. There was like none of them, so I was messing up my braking zone sometimes, and that really messed up with my rhythm. But it's P10, 1 point, I guess. Looking forward to the next race, Britain. I like it.
Awesome. We look forward to having you there as well. Right, let's also have a chat to Williams Temp. Hello, sir.
Hello. You can hear me?
Yes, Tino, we can hear you. How are you feeling?
Yeah.
How are you feeling after that one?
Sorry, I have to say first. Can someone invite Isaac to Discord and give him up on roll?
He's here.
Okay.
I'm here, mate.
Okay. Hello, Isaac. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good actually. Like, I've actually kind of nailed my quali lap compared to what I've done in practice. Like, it wasn't my PB, but yeah, I wasn't able to do consistent 0.2s in practice. So yeah, P5 was pretty good starting place, and then I lost I lost a lot of time on battling Pro on like first 2 laps, but I knew that he's gonna be slower than me in the race, so I tried my all to overtake him, and yeah, I got the move done. And then I tried to close down Isaac and Danny for DRS, but couldn't do that. So yeah, then it was pretty boring race on that first stint, and yeah, then I went for overcut because I didn't want to get punctured in the end. So yeah. Then also in that soft stint, like middle of that, there was that battle. Like there was those cars who weren't pitted yet, so that was also interesting. And yeah, there was 2 incidents as well, so we'll see what happens afterwards. But I'm happy with podium at least right now, so we'll see what happens.
Great effort, Tim. Well done to you. We will also have a word from Force India, Fabrizio Donoso. Good to have you with us again, good sir. Wow, you had a lot of fighting to do there. How was that one for you?
Good evening, guys. Yeah, as you said, it was pretty hard in the race. I don't know what happened in quali. I was setting good lap times in practice, and I just couldn't do the lap in when it counts. So yeah, pretty disappointing. But I knew that I had the race pace. I had to fight a lot in the beginning with the photon. So my tires were a bit worn quicker than I expected. So I had to pit lap 10, and I knew that the 2 last laps in the south were going to be very hard. But anyways, I nearly was able to catch Isaac, who did a really great race without any penalties. So congrats to him and the podium.
Very good, very well played, and I look forward to the season to come. Formula Danny, what a drive for you after your second pit stop. My God, you were putting on some of the most amazing moves I've ever seen, Austria. You must be, you didn't quite get the win. I'm assuming you had just no tyres left by then, but what a drive, sir.
Hello guys, yes, it was a pretty exciting race, and I'm also happy about the second position, but it's not the best that I could have achieved today. I thought, to be honest, that Isaac will lose more time in the traffic after he went to the pit in lap 12 or something like that. I saw that there is a huge traffic, and I counted with that when I decided that I will do the 2-stop strategy. But he positioned himself very good. He may got a little bit lucky as well. So unfortunately, even with a massive undercut and him being in more traffic than I was in, I could only gain like 7 seconds or 8 seconds by the middle part of the second stint of me, and after I had to pit once again, and then I had 12 seconds disadvantage and 6 cars ahead of me, which is pretty insane for 12 laps. But I'm proud that I could at least catch up to him, like nearly DRS. I needed like 1 or more laps, but I was very on the edge with fuel as well. But he was the man of today. Congratulations to him. He had the best tire wear, the best race pace all in all in both of the stints. So well-deserved victory, and I think it's a nice debut for him to this AOR season 16, if I'm correct.
Absolutely you are. What an amazing debut. And again, let's have a word from the race winner. My goodness, the way you were managing your tyre wear seemingly was second to none. You must be very, very happy with that performance, Isaac.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really know what to expect coming back into this championship. I haven't raced it for a couple of seasons now, so I mean, I know how good all the guys in this championship are, so I didn't know if I could go straight back into fighting for wins. But obviously after the qualifying, being in 4th place, I knew that I had a good chance. I lost the DRS of Danny at the start because my teammate got a bit of front wing damage and I didn't realise that, so I kind of sat behind him and we kind of lost DRS, and I had like a 1.3, 1.4 second gap to Danny, and I had to get back into DRS, I felt, to have a chance in the race. In pushing to do so, I picked up 2 warnings, so I had to drive like 30 laps without getting a single warning to manage. Once I saw he pitted, I knew that I just had to keep my tyres in good condition and avoid picking up any penalties. And yeah, it was probably one of the hardest races I've ever had to do, to avoid running wide at any point and keep my pace at a good enough pace to be able to stay out of his DRS at the end of the race.
Wow, absolutely stunning effort there, Isaac, and maybe hopefully we'll see you in later races in the season. It would be great to have certainly performances like that. It would be amazing to have you on board. Whew, I'm barely catching my breath, but it's a good time to wrap this one up then. Thank you very much to those that have been with us throughout the chat. A great pleasure to have you on board. Thank you very much, Hamish, for being with me in the commentary box and trying to get a word in edgeways. Always a great pleasure to have you with me, sir.
Yes, our job is always made easier by the great driving from these guys, so thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you very much to our drivers for putting on what has been a cracker of a race here at Spielberg. Thank you very much to our sponsors for their continued support. Without them, the league would not grow the way it is. And we will be back next time for more AOR action. Thank you very much, and good night.